Tyson, thanks so much for joining us. Can I ask, how close are you to being ready for a fight?
I'm ready today. I'm not ready. Yeah.
Great. Now, last time people saw you, Wilder fight.
Yeah.
He said he put you through hell. Is that how you remember it?
Not really. I had fun in there. If that's hell, then it's not a very scary place. I had lots of fun and I enjoyed myself to the maximum.
What does it feel like being hit by him? He's the hardest puncher on the circuit.
Yeah, he's the hardest puncher in the world, but you don't really feel punches when you're in a boxing fight. I think your adrenaline's pumping that much and you're in the moment. You don't feel them until the next day, really.
Did you see them? Did you see the one that hit you down?
Yeah, you see everything if you focus on your opponent.
And I guess you've watched the fight back, watched the key moments back.
Yeah.
When you watched it back, and in particular that bit in the 12th round,
yeah,
what do you think?
I didn't think anything. It's part of boxing. I've been in boxing my whole life and I've studied boxing even longer. It's a part of the job. That's it. You get hit by a big heavyweight in the right place and you go over. Simple as.
Does it surprise you when you see yourself on the tape getting up? Do you think?
No, it doesn't surprise me. It's like I say, it's part of my job. It's what I get paid to do. Fight.
And Frank Warren says that you felt that you couldn't feel your legs, so you just waited on the canvas. Is that right?
If Frank says it's right, then Frank says it's right.
Great stuff. Now you've called boxing corrupt in the past and been pretty frustrated with the way it's run. Is that the prime example, that fight for you, of what needs to change in boxing?
Do you know what it is? I could cry and cry and cry about it, but it's not going to make any difference. So once a decision has been made, you can't reverse it in boxing. No matter how many judges get together and a panel and get signatures and vote against it, it's been done. So it's really unimportant. It's in the past.
You don't think about Alejandro Rochin and his...
I don't think about anything, because thinking about it would only make me hold grudges against people, and I'm not here to hold grudges against anybody. It was what it was. Plenty worse things have happened at sea. I'm still alive and well, and that's the most important thing.
Do you think you should have done anything differently in that fight?
No, I didn't.
Did the taunting work? Did the sticking your tongue out and holding your hands up?
I'm not too sure, but I'd done everything I had to do.
Yeah.
I followed my game plan excellently. I couldn't have done anything more, that was it. I won the fight quite clearly, 10 rounds to 2. So if you're not going to win on a 10 rounds to 2, then I think it's highly impossible you're going to win overseas.
Yeah.
But who am I to say anything? You know, I'm just a fighter who goes in there and does a job. And sometimes in boxing especially, you get the wrong end of the decision, and that's just the way it is.
People want to see a rematch. They want to see you get that result, probably overseas. Can you do it then? You've said it's...
Well, I won 10 out of 12 and didn't get a decision. So maybe if I win 12 out of 12, I might get another draw. Who knows? You never know, do you? Especially if you're off your own soil as well.
Yeah. How close are we to that rematch, do you feel?
I'm very close, yeah.
Do you think it would be a similar kind of fight? He felt you were rushing his punches the first time. Do you think...
I was doing what?
You were rushing his punches. You were sort of hurrying him into stuff that he was...
I'm not too sure. I can only speak for myself. I can't really speak for Deontay Wilder as a person, so I'm not too sure what he was doing in there. Whatever it was, he needs to improve anyway, drastically.
But do you have a different game plan for him if you meet him again? Do you have has he seen the Tyson Fury he's going to face again, or might he get into the ring with someone who boxes completely differently?
He may well do. But I'm not going to tell you that, am I? Because then he'd know, wouldn't he?
When you're in the ring, whether it's against Wilder or if it's against Joshua in the future, or it's Klitschko in the past, are you angry?
No, not at all.
You ever been angry in the ring?
No.
It's completely controlled.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an aggressive thing. I suppose if you get angry, you have lost your cool and you're not doing your job. And at the end of the day, just like this is your job, going in the ring and fighting somebody is my job.
Who do you see as comparable to you, or who have you?
Nobody. There's never been anybody like me in history before, and I'm a student of the game, so I'd know if there was anybody even remotely like me. There's never been anybody, so I'm quite unique, to be fair.
And about the all-round package, the guy outside of the ring as well as in it. Do you look to Ali, or do you look to other people and say, I don't
really aspire to be anybody, or I don't have any role models as in other boxers or anything, but I admire them all. Mm-hmm. They were all great champions in their era and their time.
And as a student of the sport and someone who knows the history, do you have an idea of how good you can be? Can you be up there with Lennox Lewis and British, or Ali, or do you have a sort of where you should end up?
I'm not really too concerned with where I want to be when I'm retired. I'm living as an active fighter. I believe all retired fighters envy activity. And once it's over, who really cares? Because you're done, you're finished. It's a thing of the past, it becomes history. So I enjoy my time in the sun while I've got it, and I'm getting a good suntan at the moment.
Great. Can you tell us a bit about what Frank Warren's done for you since you started working with him? How he's
Absolutely nothing. No, Frank's a good guy. He's a decent bloke, and I got a good relationship with Frank. He's a good promoter, Hall of Fame boxing promoter.
Yeah, and is there particular bits of advice he's given to you, or ways he's told you to sort of, I don't know, whether it's wind up opponents or get people on, or is he...
No, nobody can tell me how to wind up opponents or anything like that. The advice he gave me was to do this interview today, so that's good advice from Frank.
Of all the people you've wound up in the ring and outside of it, who do you think you most got under the skin of?
Probably everybody I've ever fought, to be honest, because they all want to punch me in the face quite hard and beat me up, so it's... not something that I'm really interested in, to be honest, getting under skins and all that, getting in people's minds. It's really unimportant, because when the bell goes, it's a fight anyway. So it's not something I'm concerned about, but if they're going to let it bother them, then good for them.
Do you relish being seen by some people, whether it's in the media or amongst the fan base of boxing? They warm to you because you seem like almost a villain to them. Do you sort of bring that now? People who know you're a lovely, soft-hearted guy, but do you relish in the image that some people have of you?
It's people's opinions again, isn't it? And I'm not going to get involved in talking about people's opinions, because everyone's got a different one, and it's really unimportant to me on someone's opinion. Mm-hmm. Because if there's 5 people in this room or 6, they'll all have different opinions on what colour that screen is there. So I can't change everybody's mind. I'm not interested.
Excellent. You said that at some stage that you felt that partly because of your background, you felt you'd never be accepted. Do you feel that people have accepted you now because people do love you?
Again, the old Tyson Fury was concerned about being accepted and whatever. Mm-hmm. But again, I only live for myself on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. I'm not really concerned what people accept me or they don't. All I'm concerned about is waking up every day in a mentally well mind and providing for my family. Mm-hmm. Whether people accept me, like me or hate me is entirely up to them. Mm-hmm. Because like I said before, everyone's got their own opinion on what they want to do, what they want to wear every morning, what they're going to eat, what they're going to listen to, how they're going to feel. It's entirely up to everybody as an individual. Yeah.
And you, as far as you're concerned, in the way you look at life, are you as are you as happy as you've ever been as a boxer? Are you
yes, happy as I've ever been, ever.
And is that because, could you talk us through whether how that relates to the training or how?
Yeah, it's just having a good structured routine, basically. I have the same routine daily. I look forward to things on a weekend, and that's it, really. That's my life. Training, eating, sleeping, repeating.
And there's a lot of sparring involved.
Yeah, there is, going up to a fight, yeah.
Okay. Could you give us some? Is it twice a day you train, or how do you like to split things up?
Yeah, I train twice a day, morning and evening. Mm-hmm. And if I'm in a training camp, that'll consist for about 6 to 8 weeks of the same stuff daily, and that's it, really.
What's the hardest part of the training for you? Because
training's not hard for me. It's something that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I'll continue to do after boxing's gone. Yeah. Training gives me a clear mind and conscience. Training gives me something to get up for in the morning, and it makes me feel good. It gives me that feel-good factor.
Yeah, and the sparring is more interesting than the bag work, presumably, and that's why you're someone who thrives on it being unpredictable, it being being creative. Is that why you maybe spend more time on sparring than other fighters? Or
not really, no. We only use sparring as the closest form of practice for what you're actually going to do on the night. So I'll just use the sparring partners accordingly. I don't go in there guns blazing. I'm not trying to hurt anybody or do any damage to anybody. I'll specifically be working on a certain areas of my game, and that's what I'll work on. And I'm not interested what the sparring partner does to me, as long as I do what I'm supposed to. If I'm working on my job, then I work on my job. I'm not there to beat him up or get the better of him. I'm not interested in any of that. Total professionalism. I'm there to work on moving. I'll totally move, and that's it. It's not a contest on who's better in a sparring match. I'm paying those guys to do a job, and so I'm going to get the best out of them. And that's what I'll do.
Do you watch a lot of boxing to learn just to pick up what other people are doing?
No, I don't watch boxing to learn. I used to watch boxing from a young age, all the great fighters, from black and white films right up to date, and I still follow a lot of boxing. But I follow it because it's my job and it's my hobby as well. I don't follow it to take tips from people or to see what everyone else is doing, because like I said, everybody is an individual, and what will work for one person won't necessarily work for the next. So I've got to do what I've got to do, and that's me. What I do, it can't be taught. It's learned over long periods of time.
Mm-hmm. And you were someone who knew from the age of 10 or 9 that you wanted to be heavyweight champion of the world.
That's right, yeah.
Was that what gave you the confidence at that age to think you could do it?
I don't know what gave me the confidence to think I could do it, but I just knew I wanted to do it. And if you want something really bad enough, you'll do it. Simple as. Mm-hmm. Boxing is the only thing I ever wanted to do in my life, ever. I didn't want to do anything else apart from being a heavyweight champion of the world, and that happened. So then I had to give myself a new goals and new things to try for, and that's what I've done over the last few years.
Can I ask what type of a kid you were? I mean, presumably you were the best boxer of everyone you knew at that age, were you? Or did you?
No, not really. I was just a young kid, frail, skinny, and afraid. I suppose boxing gave me that confidence that you see today. Before that, I was a shy, quiet kid. But when I got involved in boxing, I suppose getting punched in the face, punching people back in the face, it gives you an element of respect, and it gives you confidence too. I think it's very important for young kids to get involved in combat sports.
You left school at 10 or 11, is that right? And there was no, as you say, it was boxing, and there was no question to you about, I guess other kids were going on and didn't box, didn't know about boxing, didn't have an idea, but there was no question in your mind that you knew from the beginning, as it were.
From the beginning. From the beginning, I knew I was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. I don't know why, I don't know when, I don't know where, but I just knew it was going to happen because I wanted it that much. I suppose if you want something that much, more than anything else in the world, then you'll achieve it. Yeah.
And what was the most difficult moment for you on the route to being a pro? I mean, were there moments where it looked like it was impossible?
Not really, no, because all along I never give up hope and faith that I was going to do it. Nothing's easy. Nothing easy is anything good in life comes hard. Mm-hmm. You have to work really hard to get what you want, and that's what I did for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. And people out there have been really touched by your struggle with mental health and your openness about it. Can you tell them how you are, how you see yourself now?
Yeah, I can. I'm fantastic at the minute. Everything's going really well. Like I said, I stress this a lot, that it's all to do with routine and giving yourself short-term goals. And that's what I do. Give yourself short-term goals, have a good routine, and that's it. Everything will run smoothly.
Is it useful for you to think now about the causes of what you might have suffered, or do you just try and put it behind you? What's how do you deal with it?
Everyone deals with things differently, but for me, like I said, it's all about routine. I'm not a dweller on the past. See, what happens 2 minutes ago stays in the past. It's none of my concern. I put it all behind me and just keep moving forward. And I don't look back, because if I'm to keep moving forward in the right direction, I'm not going to dwell on the past.
Yeah.
It's very unimportant to me what happened yesterday, because we can't turn back time. And as long as we try and be a better person today than I was yesterday, and try and stay mentally well, then I think we'll be okay. And I think that's the most important thing to me. Because it seems okay now to sit here and do an interview and hand me back to my old self, but there were times there where I didn't think I'd ever get back to thinking straight, never mind to competing again. I'm just very happy to be back to normal, so be it.
Yeah. Are you someone, therefore, who doesn't have regrets?
No, life's too short for regrets. Like I say, you've got to keep moving forward all the time. Moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. And when you stop, everything's going to overtake you. So we just got to keep moving forward and not stop, not look back. Always keep your eyes on the goal. Whatever goal it may be, it doesn't have to be a massive goal. It can be anything that you want in your life. Set a target, achieve it, move on. Once you've got it, don't dwell on it. Move on to the next thing. Because if you stay in one position, you may as well be moving backwards because time is moving on and you're being left in the same position.
Your wife, Paris, has spoken beautifully about her experience with miscarriage. Can you tell us how you dealt with that and how difficult that was for you?
Very difficult, always losing children before their time and not being born and stuff is obviously a traumatic experience. But like I said, there's not much we can do about it. It's out of our hands. And we got through it as a team, really. Mm-hmm. We talked about it a lot. I think talking about things helps a lot. And that's it, we move forward.
There's a wonderful line at the end of Raging Bull, which is, I once was blind, and they flash up from the Gospel of John about, I once was blind and now I see.
I see.
How are there particular lines that inspire you when you're dealing with difficult things, whether it's your mental health or loss of a child, those sort of things? Are there lines that flash up inside you? Or?
There's not really lines, but my faith is very strong, and I believe everything happens for a reason. And everything that we get or everything that happens to us, there's an explanation for it. And it'll all be revealed to us when we die. So there's a lot I want revealing when I die, but for now we'll have to wait till we move forward into the future.
Do you find time? Do you read the Bible now? Can you find time because all the media?
Yeah, listen, we've got to find time for things that we want to do in our lives. You can never be too busy to do the things that you want to do, and it's like this. If you're too busy to do something that you want to do, then what's the point in working? What's the point in achieving? If you can't really do the things that you want to do, what's the point in going to work every single day for the next 45 years to earn money if you're not going to do the things that you want to do? So it's up to you, really, if you want to do something, to make time, isn't it? People say, I'm too busy to do this, too busy to do that, but what really is busyness? Are we busy because we're making ourselves busy with things that don't concern us? Are we busy that we can't have time for ourselves because should always be enough time to do what you want to do, at least for an hour a day or whatever you want to do, your time. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if I don't get an hour to me daily, whether I'm going for a run, whether I'm going to the gym, to do what I want to do, and that's train, keep fit, whatever, or some people may want to read a book for an hour or whatever, then I think that's really important, especially with dealing with mental health problems as well, because you need a bit of that time. Mm-hmm. Just to think about what you're doing in life and where you want to be and what you want to do. Think about your goals, give yourself new goals, that sort of stuff.
And when you were at your lowest ebb, really, did your faith waver, or were you able to hold on to that right the way through?
I held on all the way. That's why I'm still here today.
When you were driving your Ferrari and you thought about ending it all, was that was here, was it, in the UK?
Yeah.
And it was faith, it was God that helped you at that moment.
I'm not sure what it was. I can't 100% say for sure what it was, but I know I'm still here to tell the story, so it must have been something of good.
Yeah.
Because if it was something of bad, I would have hit the bridge and died into a million pieces.
Tell me about short-term goals then. What are they at the moment?
Short-term goals at the moment is getting some lunch after this. Just getting training every day, really. People say, the fight. The fight may as well be a million years away, to me anyway, because, like I say, I only live like one day at a time. So if it's not happening today or tomorrow, then it's not that important to me at all. People say, even in training camp, it's like, you're looking forward to the fight. How's the fight? You're thinking about the fight? I'm like, we've got to get to the fight first. We've got 6 weeks of training. We might get hit by a bus. We don't know. And then actually, I don't consider I'm actually fighting until we're both in the ring and we're both looking at each other across the ring, then I know I've got a fight on, because I've been waiting for fights, preparing for months, and then a few days before they don't turn up or they pull out. So then you're never going to really fight. So unless we're both in there on the night, and even recently I saw a video of them both touching gloves and then one got out of the ring and walked off, exchanging leather, then it's a fight.
You've floated the idea of doing a fight a month for a year.
Yes.
Is that because you want to fight more than other fighters?
No, it's just that I love what I do, and I love my sport, and I just want to keep busy and active. These big fights, they take months to make and whatever, but it's just like, doesn't have to be always big fights. I'll just fight anybody, the local binman, anything really. I'm not really interested.
The local binman wants to fight you.
As long as I can keep active and keep busy.
Yeah. How long is it physically after a fight like the Wilder one? How soon are you ready to go after? Would a month be enough?
Yeah, it's been done before. Joe Lewis done 9 fights in 12 months before. And so they called it a bum a month campaign.
So you want to go 1 better or 3 better and get it into...
Yeah, it's an idea. It's a good idea. But how likely it is, I'm not too sure. Because there's a lot of promoters and things. You have to ask Frank about that.
Everyone in boxing knows the risks involved.
Yeah.
But you're really interesting because you're a sign really of what the risks are of if you don't have the structure of training, if you don't have the discipline of fights to look forward to.
Yeah.
So are you more scared of carrying on too long and maybe doing yourself damage, or are you more scared of losing the structure and the discipline of the routine and sort of quitting too early?
It's not the boxing that drives me, it's the training. When the boxing's done, I will always continue to train. That'll keep me well, mentally and physically. So I thought it was the boxing. I thought the boxing's the be-all and end-all of everything in my life, but I realised it isn't. It's the training. And it took me a long time to figure that out. 20 years. But I really figured out it's the training that makes me happy, not just the fights.
You've talked about giving away a lot of your money. You've talked about being skint a year ago. Do you have enough money? Do you look forward to having more money? Do you have a target?
To be honest, what is money? Money comes and money goes. You blow it like a runny nose. Unimportant to me at all. Very unimportant. Like I've always said, as long as I can pay my bills and put food on the table, it's very unimportant to me. I don't have any big ambitions of buying a private plane or a yacht, because they're a waste of money, in my opinion. And that's it. I'm not really interested.
And so that shouldn't be an obstacle to you?
No, I've always been brought up not to talk about money. If you've got money, treat it accordingly. And that's it. Work hard. If you work hard, you'll get money. And if you don't, you'll get none. And that's how it works.
Are you confident that not only you've got enough money, but have you reached a level where you feel your kids will always be secure, that you sort of...
Again, my kids have to work for money. I'm not here to hand money out to my kids and make them so they can't survive on their own. Because God forbid I died in the morning, life continues. They have to work. I believe everybody has to work for their money. Regardless if you come from a rich or poor family, you still have to work, because then only through working and having things hard and working and appreciating things will you ever appreciate what you really have. Given to people creates laziness. So if I give my son a brand new Ferrari when he turns 17, not only will I might kill him in a car crash, then he realises he doesn't have to work and strive and set goals, so he becomes lazy, and laziness is a bad thing.
Would you like your children to take up the passion, to take up the sport?
You can't want for your kids. It's very unrealistic for me to try and plan my kids' future.
Mm-hmm.
See it time and time again, parents planning for the kids and then they go and do something totally opposite on purpose. Everyone's got to be left to do their own thing. You can advise them, try and steer them in the right direction, out of trouble and whatever, but at the end of the day, every man and woman and child, not child, but every man and woman makes their own decisions in life. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. So whatever line of work they want to do, it's entirely up to them.
You're not going to stand in their way if they do?
All I'll do is encourage them to work hard. I'll tell them the same as I tell everybody else. If you want it bad enough, big world out there, go and do it.
Do you remember who the first person to tell you that, when you said, I want to be heavyweight champion?
Yeah, my dad.
He said you could do it, did he?
He said, if you want it, son, go and do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Because there's so many naysayers out there, jealous people and people who are try and put other people down and try and give them negative vibes. The world's full of people like that. You just need to ignore all the people who say you can't do it. If I'd have listened to everybody who said I can't, I definitely wouldn't have achieved what I have.
What does scare you?
What scares me? Dying and leaving me kids without a father. And having a structured background. That scares me. Apart from that, nothing.
As a communicator, have you had to learn to communicate in the way you do, and or does it come naturally to you?
It's something natural, yeah. I think you've either got it or you haven't. Gift of the gab, maybe. Some people can talk, some people can't. Some people can connect with others quite easily, and other people struggle. It's just different gifts that we have, I think.
Do you sit there thinking of lines and ways you
Not
can...
at all.
Really?
No, it's all freestyle, everything.
So you go out there in a press conference with Wilder and...
Yeah. Everything's off the cuff, nothing's pre-planned at all.
Compared to some of your other opponents, he wasn't bad at giving it back.
No, he was all right, yeah, he was a worthy challenger, to be honest. He was all right, but no contest.
Do you have much contact with him now, or do you text him?
I did text him before, just after Christmas, and I had to say, let's get the fight arranged, and didn't have a reply. Usually it's not a good sign.
It's
Maybe
weird.
he's a little bit bitter.
Champion boxers are the only ones who know what it feels like. So whether it's Frank Bruno or Lennox Lewis or whoever else, do you find it useful? Are you sort of constantly WhatsApping them, texting them, saying I feel like this, or sharing?
Yeah, I speak to Frank and Lennox quite a bit, to be fair, and it's always handy to get advice, because they've been through all this before. Like I said, they've been through all of this and they've done most of it all. So that I try and learn from people's mistakes, what not to do, what to do.
I remember Frank once describing being hit by Mike Tyson as being hit by baseball bats on the end of whips. But it's funny that you say you didn't feel a thing. I mean,
I didn't feel a thing, no.
and Lennox is someone you've won round as a fan over the years, as someone who after the Wilder fight was absolutely ecstatic about you.
Me and Lennox had a little bit of beef early on. I was trying to get him out of retirement to have a fight with him, but then I had a meeting with him and he said that's not going to happen, I'm too old. And then we've become good friends. He's a top bloke, good athlete, good sportsman, achieved a lot in the game, and you have to respect him.
Do you ever think about the possibility of losing and the possibility that mars your record? Do you ever...
Not really. In boxing, you win some, you lose some. It's just part of the game. That's it. Some people go undefeated. Joe Calzaghe, Floyd Mayweather. There's quite a few who never lose fights.
But you'd rather have the extra fight and the extra opponent than the unblemished record, or
whatever. You don't know the future. I don't know what the future holds, so I can't really say.
A few years ago, you managed to get under Klitschko's skin, coming in a press conference in a Batman suit. I mean, that worked as a tactic.
It wasn't really a tactic to get under his skin. It was more of a tactic to give the children something to watch, the kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because a lot of them watch on YouTube, and my kids love it. The day their dad dressed up as Batman to a press conference. All the kids in the school, they always talk about it, so it was something for the kids, really.
It was your idea?
Yeah.
And then I think that was the time that you floated becoming an MP.
Yes.
Could that still happen one day?
Maybe, for sure.
And at that time you were concerned about sort of the language towards immigrants. Is that something that you're still worried about, that you spoke about?
Excuse me, what?
You were worried about the language that people were using about immigrants at that
Language
time.
about immigrants? No, it wasn't. That wasn't my concern. It was about the homeless and the drug addicts and alcoholics.
Do you still see that now around where you live and around Lancaster?
It's everywhere, to be honest, isn't it? It's rife at the moment, but there's not much you can do about it other than just keep raising awareness and try and help people. That's all that can be done, really.
Do you still give money? Do you still talk to people on the street? Is it something that...
Most days, yeah.
Do you get a sense of what the underlying cause is of homelessness?
Most of their homelessness and alcoholism and drug problems stem from mental health, believe it or not. While I was in America, I went to this, I was in California, and I went to this place that was like, I don't know, maybe 2 miles square of nothing but homeless people. 90% of them were struggling with mental health. They had problems. But I don't know what the problem was over there. There was no hospitals for them, whatever, so they're all living on the streets. You might see 1 or 2, maybe 10 if you go down a big city. But over there was like thousands of people just there in the street. And I thought to myself, wow, we've not got a problem at home compared to this. I was in California and it felt like I was in a third world country. So I don't know what's going on, but something needs to be done about it.
Yeah. And you spoke, I think, at the time you voted being an MP, you were pro-Brexit. Are you still pro-Brexit?
It's up to people, and people have voted. They want to leave. So what can you do? If the government go against the people, there's no point in having a government then, is there?
Did you vote in the referendum?
No, I didn't.
No. It's funny because Parliament is almost as big a circus as before a fight. It's maybe the one prime time competitor you've got at the moment. The big build up, all the politicians. But do you
I find it very interesting because I want to see what's going to unfold. I want to see how the economic situation changes with Brexit or stay. I want to see if there's going to be a stay play vote. I want to see if there's going to be a second vote to see if we want to stay or leave. Because apparently a lot of people who voted leave, given a second option today, would vote stay. So who knows what's going to happen. It's very interesting times in our country.
Do you think you'd vote if there were a second referendum?
I probably would, but I don't know what I'd vote.
Do you sympathise a lot with people in the public eye, given what... I mean, do you kind of naturally empathise with other famous people and other people because the spotlight is so intense and so battering?
It's not just that. The spotlight is one thing. It is what it is. It's a part of our job. But the problem is we're being known as you don't have your own life anymore. Your life doesn't belong to you. Sort of like a public thing, a public home. Because I can't go with my wife and kids and be left alone as a normal person. It just doesn't work anymore. So that's the only thing. It's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
So the only time you have privacy is when you're in your own home. But if I want to go for a family day out somewhere, that can't be possible. Because I will be tortured from the moment I enter to the moment I leave. And even on the way to the vehicle, leaving.
Tortured with photos or with selfies and... Is there any way you...
No time for myself at all. No time. Even if I'm eating food and I've got the spoon to my mouth to say, I know you were eating, sorry to interrupt you, but can I do this or do that? Like, come on.
Have people...
And that's just me. I'm just a big bald-headed boxer. But I can't disguise. Even if I wear a hat, a moustache, a beard, whatever, because of the height, I can't escape. I can't wear a hat and sunglasses because they still know it's me.
What would you say to people who want to come up to you in restaurants? Would you say, look, if you respect me, just respect my privacy? Or
it's not that. It's just that Tyson Fury as a boxer, that's fine. No problem. Do a million photographs, sign what you want, interview, whatever. No problem. While I'm working. But while I'm not working, I've got 5 kids. So, I'm just a normal person. Respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I might just start doing? Going to random people and just getting on the shoulder and say, let's have a selfie. And they'll look at me like, if I did that, I'd probably be up on charges. But it seems to be all right for them to do it to you. So it is what it is. Or grab me by the head or something like that and try and get a picture. I don't know.
We could try a few people in the lobby, see whether they're interested.
Could do. Could try all that.
I think we'd scare the hell out of them.
It would be quite scary, wouldn't it? Just imagine you're having your lunch, minding your own business, and then some person comes right over your neck, right up close, like this with a phone, it's flashing pictures in your personal space. How would that make you feel?
You once described yourself as the greatest heavyweight ever to live in a caravan. Was it a joke? I mean, have you ever lived in a caravan?
I've never ever described myself as that, ever.
Apologies, that might be...
I've described myself as the greatest heavyweight that's ever lived.
Right.
Ever. But not in a caravan. That's come from someone like you.
You're a Man U fan, am I right in thinking?
Yes, that's correct.
What went wrong with Mourinho?
No idea. I think his style is outdated and times move forward, and he stayed still on the same game plans and same tactics. And as we all know, everything improves with time.
I mean, you have that experience of changing trainer, and it gets the. I mean, do you see the parallel in it? It sort of
I do. I see the good side of changing trainers because it gives you something fresh, new motivation, new things to work on. I think when you're in the same guy for a long time, although they wasn't with Mourinho that long, it just wasn't working. But now they've got somebody fresh in, they seem to be doing the business.
Do you think? I mean, your trainer Ben is incredibly young in boxing standards. Do you think that the sport has changed so much that other fighters are missing a trick? Really, I mean, that it's given your fighting something new, something special to have someone who's recently come into the sport as well.
I'm not too sure. Like I say, what works for me may not work for somebody else. But yeah, I think having something new game plans and new things to do does refresh the body and mind instead of doing the same thing day in, day out.
Who's the greatest fighter around all divisions?
Me.
When you look at Mayweather or something like that, what do you think? Do you see weaknesses? Do you see things he can't do?
I see a phenomenal athlete who's achieved the highest in sports, been on top of the game for so long, deserves admiration, respect and honour. Amoni's been on top of his game for 20 years. 20 years at the top. That's a long time. One of the greats of sports, similar to, you've got Mayweather, you've got Federer, you've got Michael Schumacher, you've got the Williams sisters. These people have been on top for so long. Klitschko's, Wladimir, so long on top of the game, on top of the sport, so many world title fights, so many Grand Slams, so many race wins. Longevity. There's only a few that you could name who are active and still going.
But you think you're up there in terms of out of the fighters that are around today, including Mayweather, you think you're
said who's the best fighter today, and I said me.
Mm-hmm.
But as for longevity or whatever, something I'm not really too concerned about. Never have been, never will be, because I'm not really concerned about being remembered as the longest reigning champion or whatever. Really unimportant to me.
How many years do you think you've got at your prime?
I think a heavyweight has got as long as he wants to, until 40 at least.
Can you see yourself being around till 40?
I don't know. I don't know what the future holds.
How do you relax?
Like I say, I'm a family man, so I've got kids and wife to attend to on a daily basis. I've got normal jobs to do, so I crack on with that while I'm not in training camps.
And congratulations, you're expecting your fifth child, a son, in March.
Yes.
Do you think that'll be the end of the Fury family, or is it?
I'm not sure. Again, I can't see what the future holds, but I'm happy. I'm very happy with what I've got. The house is a madhouse at the minute. We've got this, God willing, the baby arrives, and we'll have 3 under 3 and 2 older ones, so it'd be hard for us.
And you've called yourself a hands-on dad. I mean, presumably the more kids there are, the more nappies you have to change.
That's right, yeah.
What's your advice for people out there who struggle with 2 kids?
Don't have any more. No, it's hard work. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Having other people that you got to look after all the time is hard. But it's only for a short few years, and nappy changing don't last that long. 3 year max, you're out. It's all a good experience, part of journey in your life. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
People hear you talk about training, and they're going to think, is Tyson Fury now almost boring? Is it just routine, protein? You tell us. Nearly 5 kids. Has life become routine? Have you mellowed?
Life for me at the minute is very quiet. Quiet's a good thing. When it's quiet, everything's running good. When it's hectic, everything's going wrong. So I like quiet. I like just going to the gym and having plenty of time to do what I want in the day, because I know by the time fights are arranged, then it gets really hectic. You haven't got 10 minutes to do anything other than what you're focusing on. So I'm enjoying my downtime and ticking over daily.
Can you tell us a bit what you have to eat now to maintain your shape? I mean, David Hay was vegan for a bit. I don't know whether that's presumably not something you've adopted.
No, it's not. I'll get up in the morning and I'll have, like this morning I had 2 oatmeal toasts with 3 scrambled eggs for breakfast, maybe a protein shake if I fancy it. If not, I won't bother. And then for lunch, this changes on a daily basis, so this is not the same stuff every day. For lunch, I'll maybe have a baked potato with tuna or something in it with some salad or whatever. And then for me tea, I might have a steak with some mashed potato, some veg, that sort of stuff. Just healthy, clean living, really. I'm not on a diet. I'm not trying to diet for fancy a pudding or something or a sweet. I will, but I won't overindulge where I did before.
How do you feel about the titles you lost? Do you feel bitter or jealous?
I vacated them.
I
didn't lose them.
Do you feel? I mean, does it feel equal to you as if you still had them, or do you feel like?
I don't really feel anything because I voluntarily vacated those belts to free the division up while I was suffering mental health problems, to give other people a chance at boxing while I was recovering. So I don't feel hard done by or whatever. It was my option to vacate. Apart from one of them, which I got stripped of within the first 7 days, the rest of them I voluntarily vacated to free up the division.
You don't miss them, as it were. For you, the most important thing is to keep your health together, to beat whoever's put in front of you. Is that,
Most important thing to me is being healthy, that's it. Because career and everything aside, your health is your wealth. And if anybody ever tries to tell you any different, they're lying. As long as you wake up and you're healthy and you keep healthy and you're disease free and you're mentally well, then you're a very rich man, in my opinion. Very rich, super rich.
Do you ever worry that getting in the ring could affect your mental health? That it could?
No. I don't worry about anything because nothing's worth worrying about. What's the worstest thing that could happen to me? The worstest thing. I could die. That doesn't get no worse than that, does it? And I'm not worried about dying. It's part of life. It's part of our journey. So it is what it is. As long as I don't die tomorrow and leave my kids all young with no structure in their life, then I'll be all right. So the worstest thing that can ever happen to somebody is die. And I don't fear it at all.
Do you think people are waiting for you to fail? That they're waiting that all the people you've won over, that there's a small minority of people who are going to turn on you? Do you worry about that?
Is that someone's opinion again? What someone thinks of me or whatever?
Can you block that out entirely then?
It's not something that I'd ever think about again. It's something that I would never think about. I've won someone over and I might lose them. I don't try and win anybody over. It's not a winning people over competition, is it? It's a boxing match.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like I say, some people like sports people, some people have no interest or no concern about what sport's going on. I know some people who don't even watch boxing, don't watch any sports, are not interested in sports at all. So whether they like a sporting person or they don't, it's entirely up to them, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's just it.